Are you ready for a really easy and quick day? Hey everyone, Cristin here, and we are continuing with our June Cuties. So today is going to be a very easy day, and not just for you, but for me too. I'll tell you why. So we are going to work on the inner borders today. So pull out your packet. If you did your packets, it's on page 40, and we'll just go over very quickly and easily what we need for our inner borders. So like I said, it's on page 40. Let me pull my book open to that. So I have suggested in the prep video that I recommend cutting your border fabrics a little bit longer than what is described in the book. So there are two different sets. So one is set A, the shorter one, and B is the longer one. All right, so both of these are 1 3/4 inches wide, 1 3/4, and then for inner border A, it says in the book to cut it to 10.5. My recommendation is 12 inches long, so 1 3/4 by 12. And the reasoning is just so that we can put it together in assembly and make sure that it is long enough. All right, I mentioned that thoroughly in the prep video. So for A, two pieces that are 1 3/4 by 12 is my recommendation. And then for B, it is, by the way, it's that green petal fabric, in case you haven't noticed that. It's like a minty green, sea green, I don't know, green with petals on it. All right, and then for B, inner border B, this is the longer one. This is 1 3/4, and in the book it says by 13, and my recommendation is by 15. So just a little bit longer, whatever you can do to make it a little bit longer, just to give you that reassurance that it is going to make it all the way. All right, 1 3/4 by 15 is what I recommend. In the book it says 13. All right, two pieces. And then we have our batting. So our batting, what did I cut my batting to? Yep, they're two different pieces. So the batting, my recommendation for your batting is 1 1/4. You want this to be exact because we are going to add this on with our glue stick or our fabric spray like we've done in the past. So you want the batting to be exact, whereas we want the borders to be a little bit bigger or longer. But on your batting, you want it to be exact so that it will not get into your seam. So we're going to have the A, this is inner border A batting at 1 1/4 by 10. Exactly, 1 1/4 by 10, two pieces. And then for the longer ones, for the B, I have mine at 1 1/4 by 12.5. 1 1/4 by 12.5 for your batting, two of those. All right, so that's all we need today for our inner borders. Now you can use your embroidery machine to put multiples into one hooping, get it all done in one hooping if you choose. And it's easy to do that on your embroidery machine, or you can use embroidery software. In my opinion, that's even easier because then we can see it on a big screen and just send it over to our machine. It's very simple to move things around, but this can be done on your embroidery machine if you prefer. Absolutely. So I'm going to show you how to put 4 of them in one hooping. And the cool thing is, so by the way, the quilting design that we're going to use, that would be helpful information, huh? The quilting design is going to be border diamonds in a 1-inch design, border diamonds. And the cool thing is we used that exact quilting design, exact quilting size in January when we did our that snowman cuties. So I'm just going to add that tutorial. I'm not even going to do a whole embrilliance tutorial, so easy day for me too. I'm just going to cut and paste and add that part in. It's literally exactly the same. We're using the same quilting design, the same size, everything. So I'm going to add that in for the embrilliance section for those that want to see a quick tutorial on how to merge them all into one hooping. In that tutorial, I also show the different lengths and what they actually are so that you can choose based on your hoop size which one that you want to use. So easy day, let's get started on our inner borders. Hey everyone, I'm at my computer now and I'm going to open up Embrilliance Essentials. For those that want to create all 4 of the strips in one hooping, I'm going to show you how to do that. It's completely optional And I have a call. Hold on. Sorry about that. All right. So like I was saying, if you have a large enough hoop that you want to join them all in one grouping, I'm going to show you how to do that very simply. So we are going to go to this merge stitch file button, and but first let me change my hoop. Oh, I'm on my 9x14. How convenient is that? If you're not on the hoop that you want, you go to this preferences folder, click on the hoop that you want and say okay. And then I always go to this compass button and I click H for hoop to have it zoom into the hoop. All right, so then merge stitch file is this button here, and we are looking for the diamonds and sunburst right here. And we are going to use the 1 inch for the inner borders. So I want to show you real quick. I'm going to open each of these up. I already mentioned about the sizing, so I'm just going to show you. So here's a 1x10. You can tell right down here at the bottom the actual size of it. So you can click on it and it'll tell you it's 1 3/4 by 9 7/16. So we want a minimum of 10 inches. So this really isn't quite long enough. It is less than 9.5 inches. And it will work. Nobody's going to go, oh, there's this little bit of quilting that's missing. It will work. If your biggest hoop and this works out for you, go for it. That's fine. All right, so that's the 10 inch size, 1x10. Just moving it out of the way to show you the next one. And then where were we? So diamonds and sunburst. So here's the 1x12. And the 1x12, when I click on that, it is 1 3/4 by 11 inches. So that would work for your 10 inch. You would just let that extra quilting run off on the end. That will work absolutely fine. If you have a larger hoop, this would work for an 8x12 just fine. If you have a larger hoop, like a 9x14, then you could do the 14 inch. And it wasn't even 14 inches. So let me pull that up real quick. So here's the 14, 1x14, double click on that. It goes to the center. Sorry, just gonna move it out of the way. There we go. All right, and it is 1 3/4 by 12.5, less than 12.5. No, just over 12.5. 12 by 12 5/8. So just a tiny bit over 12.5. So that actually would work. 12.5. We need 12.5 for. So that would work. I was thinking we need the 4. Oh, this is the 14. Sorry, my mistake. So the 14 is 12.5 inches. So that's the one I'm going to do. And I'm going to do it on all 4 just because it'll be the easiest. You could absolutely do 2 of this 1x12 and 2 of the 1x14, whatever is going to work for you. And while I'm here, I'll show you the 1x7. I think it's called 1x7 real quick for those that have the smaller hoop right here. It goes to the center, so I'm just going to move it over here. And it is 1 3/4 by 6 5/16, so less than 6.5 inches for that one. So you would have to do a couple of hoopings, but that would absolutely work too. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and delete these 3. That didn't seem to do it. Let's try again. No, that got 2 of them. All right, there we go. So I have the 1x14. And like I said, I'm just going to do all 4 of these. I think that will be really easy. So I'm going to go ahead and move it all the way over to the left, keeping it in the middle. And then I'm going to quickly run through and change the colors on this and then do a copy and paste. So there's lots of default blues and oranges. There's only one orange actually because this light orange is a border orange. And that's just means that it has the sides, it doesn't have the top and the bottom. That's why it's a light orange instead of a regular orange. Now, for those of you that are going to do the batting the way that I'm going to do it, I'm going to glue the batting right onto my fabric. You could delete this first step and the second step if you choose. I'm going to keep it in for the tutorial so that I remember to tell everyone to bypass it, but you could absolutely click on it and click delete on your keyboard. So for the first one and the second one, this is the placement of the batting and the tack down of the batting, and we're not going to utilize that. So you absolutely could change or delete those, sorry. So I'm going to go ahead and leave those here, and then I'm going to just change this one color. So this third one, because I don't want it to group with this default one blue, I'm going to go ahead and just click on the color and change it to dark aqua and say okay. All right, so that's really all I need to do. I'm going to have the same quilting on all 4 strips, and everything else will join. So very simple. So let's go ahead and do a copy and paste. You have to click on the stitching, or you can click over here if you want to do it this way. Either way works. Just make sure that you've got it all. And say Control C to copy and Control V to paste. And it goes right on top of the other one. So we're just going to go ahead and move it over. And then another one, Control V to paste again. And I'm going to move it over here. And then another Control V. And this one I'm going to move all the way to the right hand side. I don't know if it matters that I have to get it just right, but I'm going to anyway. All right, so now we have all 4 of the designs, and I'm going to close it up so you can see. So 1, 2, 3, 4 strips, and that's exactly what we need. We have 20 color steps right now. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do an align and distribute. If you've been following us for a while, you've probably seen me do it before. Sometimes I forget the settings, but we'll figure it out. All right, align and distribute right here under utility. And I want to say it's the center button over here that does it. Let's try. This is for the align button. Oh, sorry, I always forget that you have to click on them. Always forget that. So the easiest way, in my opinion, is to drag from the bottom up over here. You can also do it by doing this. Either one works, as long as you make sure that you've got all 4 of them, all 4 designs, all right? And then utility, and before we do a color sort is when you want to do that align and distribute. So we're going to go to align and distribute, and I think it's this left center. I always forget this part, but let's see. Oh, and it did. So there was that tiny bit of movement, and all it did is move them all to the center. What I should have done is had them more wonky so you could see the change more, but we could do that. Let's just show you. So if I was like just haphazardly throwing them all around, okay? And then again, make sure that you've got all 4, highlight them, utility, align and distribute, and then that center button. And then watch back here what happens. See how they all went, ooh, let's just get right in line. So that's perfect. I like that. So I'm going to close this just because it's actually not centered, which doesn't matter in the slightest, but my little OCD brain is going, ah. All right, so that is done for that part, but notice we've got a bunch of space here and not much between a couple of them, so it'd be better to have them evenly distributed so that we have room for our fabrics. And we don't need much room, but even still, why not utilize this option? So utility, align and distribute, and we're going to go to the distribute tab here, click on that, and I believe it is center, which is what we used last time. That makes it easy. So center up here at the top, and then center over here on the left, and I've got extent of selection clicked as well. So let's see what happens. Watch back here and see how they move. Apply. There we go. All right, so now you can see we have the same amount of rim in between each one, and you need to do that before you do your color sort, because right now we've got 4 different designs. Once we do our color sort, we'll only have 1 design, and it's going to be like, what do you want me to do? It's not going to work. All right, so right now we have 20 color steps. We should be able to get that down to 5, I'm assuming. Let's go ahead and try. So utility color sort, because we already changed our colors, and then we did a copy and paste. And it says it's reduced it by 15 color changes. So always click new view. Even if you think, oh yeah, it absolutely did it, just check. Just in case, check. And we talked yesterday on the video about the tolerance level here, 0. All of this stuff should be set the same way as I have it, so that you're not you have different settings, and then you go, why didn't it work for me? It would be these settings right here. All right, so new view opens up another tab. And you can see that we went from, on this tab, there's 4 different designs, and on this Untitled 2 tab, we've got it down to 1 design. So if I open up that to see what it did, there's our placement for our batting, which again, you can delete that if you're going to do the technique I'm going to show you with the batting and the glue stick. And then the tack down of the batting, and then the placement of our main fabric. We absolutely want that. That's going to show us where to put those strips down just right. So we want that. And then the 4th one is the tack down of the strips, and that is super helpful. I really like that. It makes it so you don't have to watch it quite as closely and tape it down exactly right. And then we've got our quilting design on all of them. So that was just the easiest thing ever, and it's perfect. My machine's not on. I always forget to turn it on. So I am going to go to File, Save Stitch, File As right here. And I'm going to go ahead and name it. I'm in the embroidery design, so I'm going to go to the quilting designs. Let's see, right here, the bundle of the quilting. Embroidery files, I use Pez, and this was the Diamonds and Sunburst. So I'm going to say 1x14, and 4 of them, or quad, or whatever you want. I'm saying quad. Did you know I did a quad? Do you know what a quad? I did a quad on my bicycle. It's a 400-mile bike ride. Pretty cool. Anyway, so I'm naming it 1x14 quad and saying save. And this is the diamonds. I'm going to go ahead and name it diamonds as well, so I don't think, well, you know it's the diamonds because it's the 1 inch. But either way, 1x14 quad diamonds is what I'm naming mine. If you have a machine that you can send it to the machine, you would go to Utility and send to Solaris XP1. And then you're all ready. If you don't have that, just send it to your, copy and paste it or whatever, move it over to your USB stick, bring it over to your machine, and you're all ready to go. This will be a very easy one today. So let's go ahead and get started stitching. So what are you doing for your goal? Did you choose a goal for this project? I want to hear about it and how you're doing. I'm still working on strength. So last night I did a run. It's actually a hike. A lot of it was a very steep hike, but when we weren't hiking at incline, I ran. And it's with Paulo. So if you are on iFit, if you have a Nordic Track treadmill, or there's another brand that also uses iFit. But anyway, the iFit trainers, they're all phenomenal, but my personal favorite is Paulo. In fact, when I post my workout on Strava, I always write, hiking with my boyfriend. It's a joke, don't worry. He's married to this gorgeous woman. Oh my goodness. So anyway, beautiful hike. I think it was in California. I'm not absolutely sure, but beautiful. It's called Pikes to Peaks, I think that. Pikes to Peaks, I think that's what it was called. But anyway, a really good hike with really good incline with Paulo. He talked the whole way while I'm huffing and puffing climbing this hill and running. He's just talking all calm, and so it was a really great workout. I will add photos so that you can see the beauty of the workout. I absolutely love iFit and being able to go see all these amazing places while getting this workout. It's very inspiring and motivating, so I really enjoy it. How are you doing with your goal? And my shirt today is a really old one, like years old, but I still have it. I still love it. It is an ice cream cone, and it's on an old Target shirt, but the design is really fun. It is from Embroidery Boutique, if I recall correctly. I will add a link underneath this video, and I added a monogram, and the monogram is from Applique Market, and it's a really fun scallop design, pretty cute. And I added wording. I will add information underneath this video of where I got the design, a direct link for you in case you're interested in making your own ice cream shirt. I will add all the information under the video.